CEO. The title has an enticing ring to it. Maybe you've seen the roles in TV series, movies, newspapers, magazines, or maybe read an article online about certain feats that CEOs around the world manage to achieve. They're often portrayed as strict and stern, commanding their firms and companies from their thrones. And at one point, you might have thought how awesome it is to be at the top. But how much do people at the top really make? And is it all worth it? Here at Bear Luxury, we show you the ins and outs of the oftentimes exclusive world of the rich and wealthy, giving you insights and guidance in your journey of becoming future billionaires. In today's video, we will be talking about CEOs that make the most money and, just as importantly, how they got to where they are today. Number 10. Shantanu Narayen. If you are engaged in the creative industries, you probably supported this man each time you launch a certain computer software. As the current CEO of Adobe, his total CEO pay for 2019 was $39.1 million. With an average employee salary of $147,115, with the company's annual income of $11.2 billion, the total CEO pay is 266 times greater than that of the average employee wage. We know you're wondering how you'd be able to reach this status, earning as much as Shantanu and others on this list. There are a lot of variables to consider, but one thing for sure, they all worked hard to get where they are today. Shantanu Narayen was born and raised in India, then went on to study electronics and communication engineering at the bachelor's level. He relocated to the United States to complete his MBA at the University of California, Berkeley, and launched his profession right away. Shantanu's first significant position was at Apple. Later, he became the head of desktop and collaboration products at Silicon Graphics. He rose up the ranks after continuing to work for Silicon Graphics before accepting a position in 1998 as Senior Vice President of Global Product Research at Adobe until he was promoted to CEO last 2017. Under his leadership, Adobe increased its income every year and attained Fortune 400 status. There is little data about Shantanu and his family because he is very secretive and works hard to avoid the media. Number 9. Bill McDermott. Bill receives $41.7 million in annual CEO salary as the CEO of the software business ServiceNow, relative to the average employee wage, which is more than $223,000. The company makes $3.5 billion annually. Bill started out in business when he was very young. He purchased a delicatessen in Long Island when he was just 16 years old, making his first venture. He continued to operate in Delhi while attending Dowling College to study business, and using that initial investment of $7,000 on that venture, he used its earnings to help pay for his studies, even up to when he moved forward to Northwestern for his management course. After that, he just went on looking for jobs that can offer him more in terms of pay and challenges to hone himself. He spent 17 years in various positions at Xerox before transitioning to his current position as Executive Vice President of Cybel Industries. He was named the CEO of the German software business SAP America in 2002. By 2014, he had advanced to the position of SAP's global CEO, being the first American to do so. Him being an effective leader is an understatement, seeing how he was able to balloon its market value of $39 billion to a staggering $159 billion. A few years after that achievement, he switched to his current company, ServiceNow. Number 8. Lachlan Murdoch. Lachlan is the current CEO of Fox Corporation, a company with a total revenue of $11.4 billion. His total salary in 2019 was a staggering $42.1 million. However, unlike those on the list, Lachlan was born into a rich family already. He is the Arab News Corporation Limited's founder, Rupert Murdoch. Lachlan grew up jumping between staying in New York City and going to school in Aspen as a result of this. He graduated from Princeton with a bachelor's degree in philosophy. He was taken to Australia when he was 18 to see his father and received training at the Daily Mirror. He was appointed general manager of Queensland newspapers at the age of 22, and he continued in the media industry, following in his father's footsteps, and eventually rose to become publisher of The Australian, the country's first national newspaper. Despite being born rich, Lachlan definitely worked hard to achieve such a title, and he continued to do so throughout his career. He was named News Limited's Deputy CEO in 1995, and as time went on, his position increased. He was appointed Executive Director in 1996. He was appointed Deputy Chief Operating Officer in 2000, advanced to Executive Vice President, and finally was appointed Chairman. In his capacity as VP, he was persuaded by an acquaintance to invest in One Tower. However, the decision was doomed to failure and received harsh criticism from his employees. Murdoch had agreed to a $40 million payment in 2005, but the company ultimately failed. Soon after, he abruptly resigned from his position. But like all successful CEOs in this list, Lachlan has a quality that only a few hyper-successful individuals have: resilience and the ability to overcome any adversity. He later established Illyria Pty, a private investment firm which made investments in numerous businesses, including Nova Entertainment. He rejoined the family business in 2014, taking over as co-chairman of News Corporation. His tenure there was barely 1 year before he moved on to a position with far greater responsibility as executive chairman of 21st Century Fox. And in 2019, after Disney acquired Fox, he was named CEO of the Fox Corporation, a position he still holds today. Number 7. Satya Nadella. It's likely that you have heard of the corporation Microsoft, yet you might not be familiar with Satya Nadella, the current CEO. He received a staggering $42.9 million in CEO remuneration in 2019, in contrast to the average employee's annual salary of over $172,000. Like others on the list, Satya Nadella had to work his way up the corporate ladder. India-born Satya studied at the Manipal Institute of Technology and graduated with a bachelor's in electrical engineering. He subsequently moved to the United States and enrolled in the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. He began working with Sun Microsystems before switching to Microsoft in 1992. His involvement at Microsoft was significant right away. He oversaw critical initiatives, primarily the significant shift to cloud computing. Under his leadership, the cloud revenue increased from $16.5 billion to $20.3 billion. He made a couple more jumps to different departments before finally becoming Microsoft CEO in 2014. Back then, he was only paid $700,000, which has naturally increased, but that amount was already amongst the top during that time. After becoming CEO, Satya made more decisive moves by buying companies such as Mojang, LinkedIn, and GitHub for large amounts, each which, by the way, more than paid for themselves after acquisition. Number 6. Miguel Patricio. Possibly the most inconspicuous CEO on our list, the CEO of Kraft Heinz, a fairly well-known firm, is Miguel Patricio, earning a paycheck of $43.3 million back in 2016, in contrast to its employees, who are earning just north of $40,000 a year. His salary is more than 1,000 times that of his employees. Throughout his career, he worked for a variety of firms, including Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, and Philip Morris. He then later spent the next 20 years at Anheuser-Busch, where he eventually rose to the position of Chief Marketing Officer and held it for 6 years. He then accepted the position of CEO at Kraft Heinz, where he is presently employed and earns a relatively sizable salary. One of the best tips to achieve success is by finding your niche, or the things you specialize in, the things you're good at. The earlier you find that passion, the better. You'd have more time to hone that one skill or area and be the best there is on that field. Think of the thing that you are most interested in. Do you find yourself involved in such a field after 5 to 15 years? If the answer is yes, you might have found your niche. Nurture it well to harvest a plentiful harvest in the near future. Don't forget to share the areas you intend to specialize in down in the comment section below. Interact and connect to people who are interested in it as well. Who knows, you might be talking to your future business partner. Number 5. David Zaslav. His total 2019 CEO earning was $45.8 million as the CEO of Discovery. David, who was born in New York, attended a law school at Boston University. Unexpectedly, he briefly worked as an attorney before changing careers and joining NBC, prevailing for 20 years. His primary position was that of domestic and cable president, and he managed content distribution for television there, controlling networks like Bravo, The Weather Channel, USA Network, AMD, and the History Channel, and Sundance was a part of this. He then joined Discovery as its CEO in January 2007, and a year later, the business started trading as a public corporation for the first time. In fact, his work as CEO has had an effect on Discovery. He aided in the start of a 12-year partnership with the PGA Tour, securing the live rights to all their material, and there are a lot of hours of stuff over that in a year. Some of the most well-known and well-liked shows, including Planet Earth and Frozen Planet, have broadcast during his tenure. In addition, he started Investigation Discovery, one of the fastest-rising cable networks in the US, primarily to fans of murder mysteries. Number 4. John C. Plant. The man who's got the most wisdom through experience on the list serves as the CEO of Howmet Aerospace, where his expertise is definitely well compensated. His 2019 paycheck of $51.7 million is a towering inspiration for his employees who just earn more than $55,000 on average annually. He has spent a very long time in top positions in the automobile industries. He presided over the UK's automotive parts business Lucas Verity Automotive. John was appointed chairman after TRW Automotive purchased Lucas Verity. He had years of success at TRW. More than 65,000 people were employed by TRW in more than 190 facilities during his tenure as CEO. Lisa Su. Lisa Su, the first and only female on this list, has worked hard to advance through the ranks in a very competitive field. She's the current CEO of Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD. Her total CEO remuneration in 2019 was $58.5 million, which is higher than the more than $96,000 per year salary of her employees. Lisa moved to the United States at the age of 3 after being born in Taiwan. She was fascinated by mathematics and technology at such an early age, and her parents encouraged her studies. She routinely disassembled her brother's radio-controlled cars when she was 10 years old and restored them right after. Her genius got the attention of a lot of people and she got promoted. The IBM CEO's technical assistant, director of developing goods. She changed jobs a couple more times before landing the position of general manager at Advanced Micro Devices, a semiconductor business that creates computer processors. She encouraged the business to broaden when she was made CEO. 10% of the company's sales at the time she started were from non-PC markets. But by 2015, the video game business accounted for 40% of all non-PC markets. Number 2. Bob Swan. Perhaps the most well-rounded on our list, Bob Swan, the former CEO of Intel, has entered into just about any executive role there is. During his tenure, he received paychecks amounting to $66.9 million annually. Bob has held more positions than anyone else on this list. Over a 15-year period, he operated at General Electric in dozens of senior finance positions, rising to CEO of GE Transportation Systems, Vice President of GE Medical Systems in Europe, Vice President of Finance, Chief Financial Officer at GE Lighting, and finally, when he was prepared to leave GE, Chief Financial Officer of Webvan until the company went under. Even after that, he was still able to become CFO of the HP and Northrop Grumman Space and Mission System firms, respectively. He was also Enterprise Services and eBay's Chief Financial Officer as well, all these leading to his most notable role of becoming Intel CEO. Sundar Pichai. With a paycheck of $280.6 million, it won't make any sense to even compare it to that of his employees. But if you need something to compare his salary with as reference, Sundar's salary is more than quadruple of the second on our list, Bob Swan. Sundar graduated from the Indian Institute of Technology with a degree in metallurgical engineering. He later obtained his MBA from the University of Pennsylvania and his MS from Stanford. As a material engineer, he began working for Google in 2004. He oversaw product innovation and development for Google Chrome. There, he handled significant projects including Gmail, Google Maps, and Android, which helped him advance even farther in greater echelons. And in 2019, he was appointed CEO of Alphabet Incorporated. He's also one of the most liked CEOs of not just the list, worldwide. This is due to the fact he listens to his employees' suggestions and concerns, acknowledges them, and makes sure to act on them. Learning about these CEOs' journeys, remember that there is no real shortcut to success, and the work, struggles, and everything in between makes it sweeter once achieved. That's all for today. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel, Bear Luxury, and be guided in your journey toward becoming the next billionaire.